Hello, howdy, welcome back. I am Christi with Little Salty Homesteader. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to the crap show. If it's not, welcome back. I'm glad to see you return. Today I'm going to be taking you on the August garden tour. I'm going to show you the good, the bad, and some of the ugly. So stay tuned as we go ahead and get that started. Okay, so this is the patio. Hold on. Yeah, this is the patio in our backyard. It's quite a nice size for a backyard patio. We love it. We like to sit out here sometimes in the evenings and sometimes in the mornings. It just depends. But back here, all along here, is where I have the super hops. So we have Peach Reaper, Chocolate Reaper, and regular Red Reaper. Then we have Primatali, and then like mystery packs of seeds. So I'm not quite sure what they are. I think that this one right here on the end might actually be, oh sorry, not that one. This one might actually be a scorpion pepper, but we need the temperatures to cool down so these will start producing again so that we can actually figure that out. I also have a couple of flowers up here. So we have our we have a Hearty Hibiscus. This one has like a dark pink bloom whenever the flowers open, and they're massive, like dinner plate size. They're so pretty. And then that one is like a variegated tropical hibiscus. So you can see the leaves are green and white and pink, and then the flowers are red. I just thought it was so pretty and so unique. So I got that last year and overwintered it in our garage. You can see that several of these plants do have hornworm damage. By the time I saw the worms on the plants, they were already, you know, just about to go underground to become moths. So I just let them live, and they thanked me all over the patio, as you can see here with all of their little dookie droppings. So there you go, caterpillar dookie. And I'm going to try to stand kind of in the shade, because whenever I go out into the sun, you won't be able to see anything. So that's the green stalk that is kind of halfway in a transition point. At the top, it has a lot of different time growing. It has, on the farthest back pocket on the right, it has orange yellow thyme, and then the next two are just regular common thyme, and then there's a wild thyme on the left, right about there, and then there's lots of calendula all the way down. A spider crawling on me, so sorry for the camera shaking. And then there's Greek oregano right there, cardinal basil right there, one more kind of saddish calendula. It doesn't like getting as much sun as it gets. And then there's a couple of lavenders, Spanish lavenders there, purple opal basil right there, and a lemon basil there. And then I have some more calendula and marigolds growing in the light tower here. And we'll make our way over to this part of the patio because it's quite a bit more shaded. So we have, that's a Thai lavender frog egg eggplant. I have harvested quite a few eggplants off of it. They're very small, like the size of a marble. They're super cute, lavender in color. Our aloe vera doing really good. A bean teepee experiment. I planted some bean seeds. We're gonna see if that does anything. Then we have a little lime tree here. I don't know what that was. Maybe a leaf-footed bug, possibly. So we got okra here and there, and there's actually quite a few little okras on them. Okra loves the heat, so the summer hasn't killed it like it has killed a lot of other things going on. Some more marigold and calendula here. A plant that got crispy crittered. I was watering it as often as I watered everything else, but I guess because it was in the smaller container. It just couldn't handle it, and it gave up on life, and I don't blame it. But as hot as it's been, it's easy to give up. This one, and this one are both New Zealand spinach. This one gets substantially more shade, even though they're only like 3 feet apart. So it is thriving really well. It's doing really well. This is supposed to be like a temperature hardy spinach from New Zealand, and it has the same compound that okra has. It makes it a little bit sticky and slimy, but it's very, very good for your guts. So you can cook it, you can eat it raw. I just munch on it whenever I'm out here and I need a garden snack. It's not bad. It tastes like spinach. And then I recently planted some zinnias in some empty pots that I had. My husband Jake wanted to see a little bit more color out here. This is another tropical hibiscus. The flowers on this one are kind of like a yellowy orange, kind of like a flame. And we're entering the Dr. Seuss tomato forest. Last week I cut several of the plants down, so it's a little easier to navigate through here now. We're gonna go down this middle aisle here. This is a Thorburns terracotta plant. You can see this tomato is actually starting to ripen, so I'll probably harvest it here later today. I like to harvest them later in the day. Sort of concentrates all of the sugars so that the flavor is really intense. And then I have, let's see, a Paul Robeson coming back here. This part was already growing before I trimmed it down, so that's not part of the experiment from last week. The ones that are part of the experiment from last week do not have any new growth on them yet. This one is part of the giant crimson. So I have 2 here that are currently growing. The plant is starting to look a little yucky, so I think as soon as these 2 are ready to come off, I'll go ahead and cut this down and start preparing that container for the fall garden. And just some other heirloom tomatoes growing here. And then we have some zinnias that are wild and wayward. There was a red Roselle hibiscus right here between these 2 fabric plots, but the fire ants killed it. So you'll see what's left of that over there pretty soon. And once we took it out, this zinnia just like went nuts with new blooms and growth. So I think maybe it was being suffocated a bit by the Roselle hibiscus, because it was almost as big as this Roselle hibiscus, which is probably 8 foot tall at this point. Once it starts cooling down, I think end of October into the beginning of November, we'll start to get blooms on these. And this is the one that you save the seed, the calyxes, to make hibiscus tea. So I'm so excited for that. And this tomato has a few on it. That's what I thought. This is the Painted Lady tomato. The leaves did start out variegated earlier in the year, but now I don't really see any variegation in them. There's a few tomatoes. One really odd looking one right here. The plants are looking, like the plants are looking like it's August and they are tired. That's what they're looking like. I don't blame them. I'm tired too. And then here is Papa's cherry tomato plant. I'm sure that it is just a regular large cherry tomato variety from Home Depot or something, but I'm forever going to refer to this giant, wild, wandering creature as Papa's cherry tomato. It has gone up from over here up all the way over. I stuck these two stakes in the ground to try to give it some support back whenever it was like 6 foot shorter than it is now. And then it went down and it's starting to touch the ground down here. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. It's starting to touch the ground down here. Every now and then I'll throw it up on the top of this garden tool shed, but the wind just knocks it back down. So I'm just gonna, I know it'll eventually try to take root that way. We'll see if that happens. So far, most of the plant is still super healthy. It does have some stuff that can be pruned off, adjusted. We got a ripe tomato here. I'm gonna grab it before the birds do. And then next to the Roselle Hibiscus, there's actually Roselle Tomato coming down, and it's wild and wayward. And it has a lot of fruit currently set on it. So I'm just waiting for those to ripen. This is a really lovely tasting cherry tomato variety. Obviously it's pretty prolific. It's still setting fruit even whenever it's August and hot. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. And this one is a green doctor's cherry tomato. It's ripe and it's about to put on some new fruits, hopefully. So that's kind of it. That's kind of all that's going on in as far as the tomatoes go. But down here in the pots of most of these tomatoes, I went ahead and planted bush beans, and I have dragon tongue bush beans. I have a regular green bush bean that I can't remember the name of right now, a red swan bush beans. The front row here has Tanya's pink potted bush beans, and then I have some other bush beans planted a little bit farther down. There's also this blue spice basil, which is just absolutely majestic. I wish that there was a way to smell this through the camera, because this doesn't even smell like regular basil. It smells like a spicier version with like hints of vanilla and maybe like a light bit of licorice. As far as the fragrance goes, it doesn't taste that way. It tastes like a really awesome basil. It's my favorite one that I grow. This is from one seed, this giant plant, and I don't know if you can see the little bees hovering around the flowers, but they love it too. I'm just letting it get big and wild, and I'll harvest it all and dry it and you know, kind of smash it up to use for dried basil, Italian seasoning, so on and so forth. This is, I think this is lettuce leaf basil, but I'm not sure. I don't have the label in here. You can see the bees like this one too. And that is purple ball basil. The basil is all doing really wonderful out here. And then there's another red cardinal. I think the shade cloth, I have a shade cloth up over the tomatoes. I think that 40% shade cloth is really keeping these things from just completely dying out. And right here, this is the last of the bush beans that I planted, and these are royalty purple. I think I got them from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange maybe. And then over here, that's sprouting broccoli in those three, and I want to say that's a basil because it's not a broccoli. And that is, whew, that is a daisy. And this, remember what I said, we were going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the ugly. It was Cosmos, and it was quite lovely, but now it's not. That just happened this week. The temperature and the drought has just did so much of the garden in. I know that's common everywhere in North Texas right now. We got some more zinnias here. Some glass stones from the kids, I'm sure. And as you can see, this flower bed is super weedy, full of grass and weeds and random things that are undesirable. And right here in this dented part, there was actually a, what is it called? A knockout rose bush, but it was right in the way to be able to get to the rest of the yard because it sits right in the middle of this whole flower bed, which put it right in the middle of the patio. So, and it was humongous. It was probably 4 or 5 feet wide. So it made it really hard to get, you know, off of the patio and out into the yard. And then it got sick. It got RRD, rose rosette disease. So I pulled it out, and what I'm going to do with this, I didn't do anything with it this year because I didn't know what I wanted to do. What I'm going to do with this, I'm going to obviously pull all of the grass and the weeds and stuff out, and then I'm gonna remove all this mulch, and I'm going to lay down some really good compost, and this is going to be this whole thing. So it starts over here, goes down past this tree, past this other tree, off of the edge of the patio, and then up to the house. I'm gonna have stepping stones off of this side and then stepping stones down the middle, but the rest of it is going to be a bed for garlic and onions. And then I might throw a few flowers in here just to add some color and some life and some, you know, interest and contrast, but mostly it's going to be growing garlic and onions. So I'm actually going to be doing that soon. I will film a video on the whole process of that. I haven't decided if I want to just lay down cardboard on top of all of this and then lay the compost on top, or go through the effort of digging everything out. So some things to figure out, and I have time because you don't plant garlic until October. And this was my favorite spot in the whole garden for a couple of months. There were so many sunflowers on these plants. They actually came all the way down to the corner. I lost the 2 corner plants. These are almost at the end of their life. You can see where I chopped the top flowers off. I was just letting the rest of the side shoots finish blooming. This one was so lovely. This one was Miss Mars. It's actually burgundy. And then these are Tiger's Eye. And I got the seeds from Burpee. These are supposed to be a dwarf variety, but they still got about 4.5 foot tall. They were not short by any means. I will definitely be growing sunflowers every single year. They made me think of my pawpaw every time I came outside and I saw them blooming. They were just so beautiful, and it was just happy. I think that's the best word to describe it. It was just pure happiness all down this side. And then I have a couple of pepper plants here and here. It's been so hot lately that nothing has been setting, but you can see this guy has a ton of blooms. It cooled down a bit this week, so maybe we can convince it that the cooler temps are here to stay, and it'll give me some more peppers. These I planted as a joke, to be funny, because these are called Peter peppers. So by that name, you can just imagine what they look like whenever they're grown. I have some inside. I'll try to grab a picture and do the picture-in-picture thing so that you can see. We grew them as a haha, this will be funny, and then we tried them because we grew them. You know, you should try the things that you grow, and we are actually quite impressed with the flavor. We weren't expecting them to be anything special, but they have like a nice slow heat to them that's not super overwhelming, and we actually kind of like them. I was going to turn them into a hot sauce or something. So I have a couple more okra plants here. This one is a red variety, and you can see it's starting to give me some more okra. They were covered in ants really bad, so I had to cut off anything that resembled a okra or an okra bloom. And then we kind of get all down into peppers. These are peppers all the way down, except for some zinnias scattered in a couple of places. This plant is from seeds from my papa, and this plant is from seeds from my papa, and there was one growing here, but a grasshopper got it. Sometimes you can see the remnants where they leave their carnage behind. It's very, very sad. This one is pepperoncini. This one is jigsaw, and this was a very prolific little plant. It probably had, I don't know, 200 peppers on it. It was crazy prolific. But like I said, it's been too hot for the peppers to want to do anything. Hopefully the 10-degree temperature change will help things out. This one is the Buena Mulata. It still is trying to put on fruit. This one is probably my favorite one that we grew this year. It's pretty. The peppers are purple. And then as they ripen, they kind of change to this pale color, and then you can see this one ripening to like an orangey, it almost looks like a sunset with how many different dynamic colors are going on, and then it turns red. I'm gonna go ahead and take that one and I'll use it for dinner. Plus, I'm trying to harvest them before the grasshoppers get them, because you can see where they had one for breakfast today. This variegated one here is fish pepper. It kind of fell over, so it's bigger than it looks. It's growing. Tabasco pepper, I think. Dropped half my harvest here. Dropped a tomato. Where'd it go? I'll find it in a minute. Okay. And this plant was my favorite pepper that we grew this year. This was Sugar Rush Peach. It is so good. It is spicier than jalapeno, but not as spicy as cayenne or serrano or anything like that. And then it actually does almost have a bit of a peach taste to it. It's sweet. I love it. It is so good. You can see it wants to give us more. Just waiting on it to not be so hot. Dracula pepper. My husband really liked this one in the purple stage. He didn't like it as much whenever it got more ripe. It's a little bit too spicy for me. And that one back there is Puma Pepper. It has been sad the entire season. So I don't know if I'm going to grow it again, simply because I can't get it to do anything. Like all these other ones, you can see they're just like thick and lush, and this one's like, I'm trying, guys. It is the little engine that couldn't. And then pumpkin spice jalapeno, and then regular jalapeno back there. We have picked several pumpkin spice jalapeno. We really like them. They seem to be a little bit spicier than regular jalapenos, but they're really nice. We have used them in salsa. I have dehydrated them and ground them up to use as crushed red pepper. We've eaten them just fresh, right off of the vine, along with our dinner. This is Motherland Okra. Looks like it might be about to actually start blooming again. This is another Motherland Okra. This is part of the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't know what happened. It just did this. Maybe this one took more nutrients. I don't know, because they're in the same container. Then this is a tall sunflower I planted like 4 weeks ago. Look how much it's grown in 4 weeks. It's almost as tall as I am. Like, I'm this tall, maybe, and it's like right there. It's so tall. And my daughter planted these corns right here the same day I planted the sunflower, so they grow about the same speed. This is just a Black Beauty zucchini. I'm giving it a fall-ish, late summer attempt because I really would like some fresh garden zucchini. Early in the season, squash vine borers, got the first ones that I planted. So I harvested maybe 2 zucchini in the spring and nothing in the summer. And then these are my ugly, super ugly eggplants, I think they might have a spider mite problem. So when I go to pick up soil here in a little bit, I'm going to see if they have something for spider mites, because you can kind of see some webbing right here, and I saw stuff crawling within that webbing, so it makes me think spider mites. It's been blooming a lot, but no fruits have been growing. I don't know if that's because it's too hot outside or because of the spider mites. So I'm going to try to take care of these, get them back growing. One of them is, let's see, it still has the label. Melanzana rosa de rotunda, and then this one is the Turkish orange. That one is Black Beauty eggplant. It's really struggling. And then that one back there is ping tongue. I actually cut it down and it's coming back. And there's that dead hibiscus that the fire ants killed, and I'm very sad. This is kind of what the harvests have been looking like lately. This is actually a few days worth, so I'll show you the Peter pepper and how it got its name, obviously. So this has what has been gathered over the last week or so. We just kind of grab what we need out of it and just leave the rest sitting here. There is some stuff I need to dehydrate because it's starting to deteriorate on its own. So that'll be the next project for me. Okay, and then this is the last bit of the garden tour. I'm here in our home office where I have all of my fall seeds planted. So up here across the top is mostly lettuces. There are some other leafy greens that I need to transplant today. I have to go get some soil. And then brassicas. This is all brassicas on this shelf, and then this shelf as well. So I have like 6 trays 6 trays of brassicas I have to figure out where to plant. I may have overdone it, but I will find a way. I have 2 empty green stalks out there that I got, so I just need soil for those. That will help a lot. One of them is the 5-tier regular pocket, and then the other one is the leaf that I am actually going to use for all the lettuce. So that already has a home. The 5-tier I was originally going to plant root vegetables in, but I was reading today those do better in containers or a raised bed or in the ground. So I think I'm going to put some brassicas in there to see how they do. Kohlrabies and kales and mustard greens, those type of things. I believe the broccolis and the cauliflowers are going to need more space. So we're still kind of figuring it out. But I have a good start on the fall crops. Just waiting for it to cool down so that they can go outside. Anyway, that's it for the August garden tour. If you liked what you saw today and you want to continue to see more videos, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you're always notified whenever new videos are uploaded. I do try to upload on Thursdays. So far, so good for the last few weeks. And down below, please tell me what you guys are going to grow in your fall garden, because I think that it is so interesting that what I can grow here in Texas, other people can't grow elsewhere, but your spring gardens look different than mine. So please tell me down below what you're growing in your fall garden, and until next time, you guys have a wonderful week. Bye!